So, today I'm talking about romanticizing your life, especially your ordinary life. And that's something I've really adopted in my day to day. More recently, I've always been romanticizing my life. But one of the philosophies of a dust-free woman has to include this, because you can't live a life free of dust if you are not already making the regular things in your life extra. Okay, you can call it being extra, but it's one of those things that will eventually make you manifest the kind of life you want. So, romanticizing your life. I posted a video some weeks back, and I talked about how I went out. I was feeling a bit down in the morning. I woke up on the wrong side of the bed, basically, and I went to my neighborhood to pick out some flowers, from a garden nearby, and arrange them. I always arrange my flowers. Okay. Romanticizing your life means that you could be doing something pretty mundane. You could be somebody, in the grand scheme of things, that is just a mundane person. Maybe you work a regular job, you don't have like a fairy tale life. But what do you do to make your life become your dream life? Or what do you do to make your life and your generally your mood become more dust free? Okay, my last live, I'm going to be posting snippets of it very soon. I talked about what it is to be dust free and what is dustiness. Okay, and the more you pay attention to what we're doing on this channel, on this platform, you're going to get a hang of what being dust free really is all about. So yeah, I talked about all of that, and it has to just do with you romanticizing your life. So I was referring to a video I made of how I just went out, I got flowers, arranged them, and that's just what it's about. Like, at the end of the day, you don't need the perfect scenario in such a setting is me probably going to a very expensive flower shop to shop for flowers that are created from all over the world and spend thousands and thousands of naira on that, and then bringing it home and, you know, to a more picturesque apartment. And, at the end of the day, many women are dreamers. That's one thing I love about my gender. We are dreamers. Most women have this vision in their head that, wow, I want to be this person that creates flowers. But nobody is actually taking the steps to become somebody that will do that in their future self. It starts now. I personally, with the way I have my life set up, I'm already more well adjusted into being this billionaire, first lady, whatever persona, is up here in this mind. Because I am living my ordinary, mundane life already, as though I have arrived there. So I see ixora stems all around me. It's been raining and it has been depressing because the weather is so gloomy, and there's also less blooms. Most of the blooms, any flowers that are native to this side of town, they are dying. But these particular stems are very resilient, and they're the ones that have been on for a while. So I decided to, cut some stems and do what I needed to do. And I arranged the flowers. I've been doing floral arrangements and my home, my little vase. I put them on the windowsill to get some fresh air or some sunlight, if there's any sunlight. And So that video is just an example of how an ordinary day can become extraordinary, because I literally felt physically better from just arranging flowers. And this is Nigeria, this is Lagos. I'm not exempt from the hustle and bustle of Lagos, but yet I did something that is out of character, for a regular person in Lagos that is just living in a regular place and all of that. So that's what a dust feel life is all about. It compounds. The truth is, flowers and floral arrangement are now a part of my life. It's something I picked up months ago, and now it's not more even. But at the end of the day, if you're observing me, from a third eye or a bird's eye view or a third party lens, I actually appear like somebody that has an extraordinary life, because I'm doing little things that people that are supposedly supposed to be in a better place are doing. And I'm doing it with what I have. I'm not trying to be a wannabe, because there's a thin line between romanticizing your life and actually being a wannabe. That's the best word I can come up with. And there's also a thin line, it goes to the reverse, between you holding back from being a wannabe. That shouldn't actually be your focus. Always focus on the positive. Always focus on the affirmative. Always focus on what you are trying to achieve, and forget what you might be looking like. So there's a thin line between not wanting to be a wannabe and then totally throwing away the whole concept of romanticizing your life in the first place. Don't fall into the trap. There is power in action. There is power in demonstrating things. There's power in manifestation. And manifestation is not by just what you say. You have to act it. You have to pretend that you are in one mansion, even though you're in a flat. I do that to myself. And how would the lady of this manor tend to her home? Every morning, I would open my windows. I purposely set up my curtains, my drapes to be, have inner chairs. And I personally picked an apartment that has light coming in from all directions. I open up the apartment and light comes in every morning, and it just brightens up everything. Everything looks great and natural. I like my house to be lit up by natural light, okay? Like I said, the flowers, I light candles. I like candles. That atmosphere is very difficult for you to be thinking of Sapa or thinking of negativity or thinking of brokenness. Because even though you might be physically broke, like I might not have anything in my bank account on a given day. I might have unpaid invoices. Literally, I should be panicking or something. But because everywhere around me looks luxurious, I don't feel like I just feel like I'm already there. This brain, it's called neuroscience, neurochemistry. I dabble into it a bit, or I at least watch creators that do deep dives into it. And the brain is such a beautiful organ, because there's actually no more difference between perception and reality for the brain. Okay, if you remember something and you're feeling a particular memory, a particular emotion from that memory, your brain actually thinks that you are experiencing it in real time. So now, if you are setting up your home, setting up your environment in a way that feels like, wow, I'm this rich woman, I'm manifesting, um, I'm opulent. Your brain will actually start feeling like you are, and you start moving like you are, you start attracting actually the experiences that come with being that person. You understand? Let's just take a wild guess here, or a wild example, and think maybe we're in Nigeria, right? You're Temi Otedola. I'm not trying to be the Lulu, trust me, but what does Temi Otedola do every morning that she wakes up? If I was Temi Otedola, what would I do today? Go ahead and do it. Like, do it in the capacity with which, if she's going to carry a Louis Vuitton bag in a particular way, in your own imagination of what a Temi Otedola should be doing. Temi Otedola is a Nigerian billionaire heiress, by the way, for those that don't know her. Your bag is not Louis Vuitton, but it's some random Shane bag. You demonstrate by actually, carrying it the way you want it to look, and your brain doesn't really know. Your brain starts feeling, oh, wow, I'm a billionaire heiress. I do that to myself so much. And that's why I can never be down, but that's why I can never be dusty. I can never be caught up in dustiness. Because I am always, I don't know, I love the way God created me. And I love the way I consciously also try to keep myself in that sphere. I always want to be that person that is classy, that person that is, I, you know, they call it aesthetically on social media streets nowadays. There has to be some aesthetic to you. And that's a part of romanticizing your life. If you're carrying shopping, but if I go shopping, I sometimes just imagine myself like I'm walking on a Parisian, streets. If it's 44th Street, 53rd Street, whatever. And I'm shopping in like Chanel, Hermes. I might not be physically there, but the way I'll carry that supermarket bag, that ShopRite bag, you will feel like there's a carriage, there's an air. That's why our motto is literally manifest, attract, and enchant. Because you manifest, you attract, and you actually enchant. You attract what you manifest. And manifestation goes beyond looking in the mirror every morning and saying, I am worthy, I am beautiful, I am wonderful. That is good. Affirmations are amazing. That's why, again, we always have that written on our t-shirts. The other week, I was wearing a top that said, say no to dusty. I have another one, never lower your standard, never settle for dust. That's why you should shop our merch, by the way. At Richie Merch Store, this cup right here says level up. Seeing it, you don't know the mental, like, seeing it, you don't have to even do anything. I'm drinking water from it every day and I'm seeing level up. It is mentally registering somewhere in my brain that I have to level up, or that I'm leveling up, or that I have a mission to level up. It makes me not, on a deep subconscious level, I know that every time I see my tumbler, I know that, I'm going to the next level. So that's really what romanticizing your life is all about. And it's not always about being fake. It's not always about, because of the word romanticizing doesn't mean it has to do with dreaming about a man, or dreaming about marriage, or dreaming about, a Disney fairy tale. If that's your example of it, there's a way to go about that too. But at the end of the day, just choose what you want out of life. Choose your aesthetic and start living it. That is my message. If you don't take anything from everything I just talked about right now, it's that whatever it is that you want your life to become, and no matter how bad your life is presently, the only way you can make it better is to start doing better. Is to start literally acting as though you're already where you are going to. And something in your brain shifts.